guys, I'm your educator Shulagna Ghoto. Today I'm gonna brief you about the topic DNA replication, which is the second part. So in the first part of this video, I have discussed about mainly the various enzymes and their functions elaborately, which are involved mainly in prokaryotic replication. Okay, so if you missed the first part of this video series, the link is into the description box. Please go through from that, then you can easily understand today's class. So let's start. So today I gonna discuss about the prokaryotic DNA replication process, which is also called theta replication, and it has mainly three steps: initiation, elongation and termination. Though there are not such specific steps in replication process, but for our help in identification we have divided such three steps. Okay, so let's see in details what incidents will occur in initiation stage. So initiation in prokaryotic DNA replication mainly occur from ORIC region in case of E. coli, right? Which is 245 base paired sequence, and it mainly contains few conserved boxes. That means 3 boxes of 13 base pairs, which is also called 13 mers, which is 80 raised, right? Then R1 box, which is 9 base paired box, IHF binding site or integration host factor, RS box or M box I can say, R2 box, Fis binding site, R3 and R4 box. So here R1 box, RS or M box, R2, R3 and R4, those boxes are mainly 9 base paired sequence, contain 9 base pair sequence. Okay, so those boxes are called 9 mers. And now DNA A, which is an initiator protein for DNA replication in prokaryotes, always searching for ORIC region, but it cannot bind with it until a high concentration of ATP come and form a complex with DNA A. And then DNA A ATP complex binds with the 9 base pair sequence or 9 mers. That means R1, M box, R2, R3 and R4 boxes. Okay, and then IHF or integration host factor binds with a minor group and bend the DNA duplex like this manner. Okay, because the proteins which bind with the minor group obviously should have the tendency to bend the DNA, and that's why 13 base pair sequence become very close to their DNA A protein. Actually, DNA A protein have the helicase activity which contain Walker 1, that means Walker A and Walker B domains, and here Walker A can bind with ATP. Okay, and DNA A also have the oligomerization domain, so they can recruit in new DNA, and in that way they melt 13 base pairs or 13 mers, and 13 base pair become single stranded. Clear? Now SSB protein or single strand binding protein binds with each strands and prevents single strands to re-anneal or re-winding with each other. Then replication fork formed like a bubble shape. Okay, and now homohexamer circular helicase or DNA B protein come, but it cannot bind with DNA strands because it is circular, isn't it? So how can it bind? So then circular DNA B opens up by binding with a helicase loader or DNA C protein, which is right now a ADP. And when this ADP is replaced by ATP, then DNA B is going to open. Now helicase is ready to interact with DNA. Now DNA A will recruit DNA B to bind because its 1 and 2 domain among 4 domains has helicase binding activity. So then DNA B easily loaded on the DNA strand. Okay. So now DNA C has also ATPase activity. So it will get dissociated and DNA B become again circular around the DNA lagging strand. DNA B can only bind with the lagging strand. Okay. And the minor group get dissociated from IHF binding site. So bended DNA strands become straight. Clear? Now primase come, and as it has the helicase binding domain and also DNA binding property, so it can only binds with the helicase DNA combination. Otherwise it can bind in any other helicase, right, which are actually not associated into the DNA strands. But this is not happened because it has both the properties. Okay, so that's why. So then primase is going to synthesize short segment of RNA or RNA primers by reading template DNA sequence. Okay. So let's see in an animation form, then you can easily understand. Okay. So here in this animation we can see that primase come and form a short RNA primer, and then DNA polymerase III come, which is a replicase, and proceed the DNA chain by adding new nucleotides. Then helicase proceeds and increase the replication fork, or I can say the replication bubble into the DNA strands. And then DNA polymerase or DNA pol come, but their binding capacity with DNA is very low. So chi subunit of clamp loader binds with the single strand binding protein or SSBP. Then after binding of chi, delta and delta bar subunits come and bind with the chi subunit. Then chi interacts with the psi, 1 psi and 3 gamma subunits. Then open ATP beta clamp come and bind with the total clamp loader and interacts with the 3' OH group of the RNA primer. When open ATP beta clamp interacts with the 3' OH group of RNA primer, then ATPase activity become enhanced, and that's why beta clamp become closed. So now beta clamp is ready for nucleotide binding, or I can say after binding of beta clamp, processivity or binding capacity of replication fork become increase for new nucleotides. Okay. Now the second step of the process replication is elongation. So in the process elongation, DNA polymerase catalyzes a nucleophilic attack by 3' OH group of RNA primer on innermost 5' phosphorus atom of the deoxyribonucleotide triphosphate or DNTP. So this is the ribose sugar and this is the deoxyribonucleotide triphosphate, and forms a phosphodiester bridge with the concomitant release of pyrophosphate. So this is the pyrophosphate. Okay, and here Mg2 plus, which is a catalytic metal ion present in the active site and plays 3 main important roles. So it can reduce association between O and H of 3' OH group, and also it can interact with the triphosphates of incoming DNTP to neutralize their negative charges, and also it can help in the hydrolysis of pyrophosphate by pyrophosphatase enzyme, which is a very important enzyme in case of DNA replication. Okay. So by elongation, two kinds of strands can form, namely leading strand and lagging strand. So template strand of DNA which have the polarity of 3' to 5', which shows continuous synthesis of leading strands, in which direction of polymerization is 5' to 3'. Okay. And leading strand synthesis will simultaneously occur at both the replication fork site. Okay. And here, single strand binding protein stabilizes the single strand and DNA guidase A. I have told in the previous video, right, that guidase have two types, guidase A and guidase B. Guidase A mainly cuts and joins the DNA strands, and guidase B provides energy to guidase A, right? So here guidase A releases the topological stress from double-stranded DNA molecule, or I can say it can relaxes the supercoils from parent DNA molecule. Okay, so let's see in an animation form, then you can easily understand. So here this is the continuous leading strand formation, and we can see that new nucleotides are adding with the 3' hydroxyl group to form this leading strand. So secondly, how the lagging strand will form? So template strand of DNA which have the polarity of 5' to 3' shows the discontinuous synthesis of small Okazaki fragments, and this strand is called lagging strand. And for each synthesis of Okazaki fragments, many RNA primers are used in case of lagging strand. Okay, so RNA primer which are produced at a suitable site form where core unit of DNA polymerase 3 shows formation of Okazaki fragment. So in the first time, polymerization stopped when the nucleotides of the Okazaki fragments reaches to the primer of leading strand. That means into the opposite direction or opposite side, and then the core unit dissociates after, I can say, 1000 to 2000 nucleotide formation. Okay, and again DNA primers are produced at the suitable site, and then second Okazaki fragment is formed by polymerization, and which is again done by DNA pol 3, which or its core unit and with the beta clamp. And nextly, polymerization stopped when the newly synthesized nucleotides of Okazaki fragment reaches to the primer of previous Okazaki fragments. Clear? So let's see in animation form. So here we can see that core unit dissociates when it reaches to the primer of leading strand. Then a new primase come to form a new RNA primer, and from where we can see that again core unit of DNA polymerase 3 with beta clamp bind with the DNA strand, and by which new nucleotides are added to form a new Okazaki fragment. So let's see what are the functions of proteins and enzymes of elongation step. So as each Okazaki fragment formation completes, RNA primers are replaced with nucleotides by DNA polymerase 1 by its exonuclease activity. And you know that DNA polymerase 1 is one of the enzyme which have the 5' to 3' exonuclease activity, right? And because it is a DNA strand, not a RNA strand, right? So here uracil is not allowed. So those are cleaved off by the DNA polymerase 1. And secondly, DNA polymerase 1 also have the 5' to 3' polymerase activity. So it can fill the gaps between lagging strands. And DNA ligase which catalyzes and attaches the nick of Okazaki fragments. So what are those nicks? Nicks means small gaps between Okazaki fragments of lagging strand. By using NAD+ as an AMP donor and the release of NMN. And during the whole process, single strand binding protein stabilize the single strand from rewinding. And lastly, the DNA guidase releases the topological stress or supercoiling of dsDNA by binding to the opposite side of replication fork, that means into the parent DNA. Now the last step of the DNA replication in E. coli is termination. So in case of E. coli, there are 10 termination sites, and those are called TAR regions, like TAR J, TAR G, TAR F, TAR B, TAR C, TAR A, TAR D, TAR E, TAR I, and TAR H. So those are 10 TAR regions, each of which contain 23 base pair sequences. Okay, and termination is done with the help of TAS protein, or I can say termination utilization substance. And during termination, TAS protein forms TAR-TAS complex by binding with each of TAR region. And this TAS protein have mainly two phases: permissive side and non-permissive side. So permissive side allows the helicase passage to move forward to proceed replication fork, and non-permissive side blocks the passage of helicase for further movement. So those two phase arrangement allows the termination from one side only, like in the clockwise direction or in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay? Then two new circles of DNA strands are catenated, or I can say interlocked with each other at that site. And decatenation of these interlocked circles are carried out by topoisomerase 4, which is a type of topoisomerase 2. And this can separate the strands of one parent DNA. And at last, separated DNA molecules are joined together by DNA ligase enzyme. And in this way, two daughter cells can receive a single dsDNA or double-stranded DNA upon cell division. So let's see again in an animated form. So here we can see that primase come to form a RNA primer, then DNA polymerase 3 come to enhance the polymerization, and after the polymerization DNA polymerase 1 come to fill the gap, and at last DNA ligase come to attach the Okazaki fragments. So hope your concept about this topic have been clear after this session. There has provided a link of e-quiz into the description box, so you can score healthy marks and test yourself by those questions. And if you have any doubt or facing any problem during solving those questions, then after scoring you can ask me into the comment section, and also you can reach to us through our mail ID, which is into the description box. I'm so much happy to say that in previous lessons I've got your lots of responses and doubts through mail, so don't miss the chance to get a healthy score. Lastly, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe our channel, then you can get notifications about my next videos, which is coming on every Sunday. So stay safe, stay tuned. Bye.